What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Today we're talking about finances, okay? Here's the thing. We're going to talk about how much I spend traveling and how much you should spend traveling, and what a travel life would look like in general. So we're going to talk about flights, hotels, Airbnbs, everything all included, gas, food, all this thing added. Let me add food to the list, but I'm going to talk about how much I spend and how much I'm going to spend in general. And we'll talk about it afterwards. So I'll have the total up in this corner or this corner, somewhere over here. I'll have the total, we'll add it up, and in total, I'll have in the end. Okay, you guys get it. It's a basic financial video, okay? We're going to learn about financial literacy and how to travel and what's the real cost versus if you live in Chicago for how long. You can kind of compare prices and choose the life you want to live. But that's the reason why you want to listen to this, but this is what we're going to talk about, okay? So first of all, let's talk about flights, okay? So I flew business class one way. I know it's unnecessary, but the cost for me to travel business class is infinite because I will not survive a 10-hour plane ride. My body is not built for that. You can train your body to survive a longer plane ride, but it's really up to you. So for me, business class was it was essential, at least premium economy for a 10-hour flight. So I was able to do either one of it, but honestly, I was able to find this business class flight for cheaper than or around the same price as premium economy, and I was like, it's worth the jet lag to fly business. Like I would have less jet lag, which I did. I was able to sleep better, had less jet lag, and I enjoyed the trip better. Like I enjoyed Egypt better, I enjoyed Dubai better because I basically had no jet lag for the whole trip, which is awesome for an 8-hour, 9-hour time difference. So pretty nice that I flew business class. It was definitely worth it in my opinion. So the flight, I found a booking from Toronto to Dubai, and that cost me $1,400 one way. I know it's expensive, but obviously I told you the reason beforehand, and yeah, it's really, for me it was worth it. Would I rather spend less? Obviously, yeah, economy's nice, but for some reason my body just can't handle it because I just won't be able to walk the whole day because my legs will be that sore. My brain's all tired. I won't get an ounce of sleep in. It's bad. So that's why I do fly business class. Anyways, let's go beside that topic. It was $1,400 for the business class flight from Toronto to Dubai. But obviously I got to get to Toronto, and that was expensive. So for that, I spent $300 to rent out the car. I spent $289 to rent out the car with all taxes included. So we can round up for $300. And the flight from Toronto to Dubai was $1,400. So we're already up to $1,700 just off that one flight. But that's the main expense of the whole trip, honestly. And the way back should be around a bit cheaper. But so we have $1,700 already, and then we have to include the gas for the car because I had to pay for that, and that became $80 Canadian, which I believe is around $60. So we'll add $50 to the cost. We're just adding up some small things, and then obviously the food for the trip we'll add up later. But the food was around $50. The $50 for food, $50 for gas, so $100 right there, plus the $1,700 we had before, $1,800. And now that's for the flight. And now we go to Egypt, right? We book a hotel. The hotel was $20, super cheap hotel. So we had $20 over there, and now we're up to $1,720. And then we have to include the Ubers in Egypt. And in total, I spent $100 in Ubers. Honestly, if I didn't get scammed a couple times, we could have brought this down to, I didn't spend 100, sorry. I spent 25 plus, I spent around $80 in Ubers, so this would have been 50 if I didn't get scammed. So just go through Uber, don't go through taxis, and yeah. I spent around 50, so we'll say $50 for Ubers, and for food and other stuff like that, it was another $25. So $75 for the whole Egypt trip, and then also another $25 for the activities like the pyramids and stuff. So in total, another $100 just for Egypt. Really cheap country, amazing country. Yeah, $20 hotel. Didn't have to be too much, and I could have stayed way longer in Egypt, but it was definitely worth it because it's an amazing experience. It only had to spend extra $100. So in total, we're at, let's say, $1,800 to $1,850, depending on how you want to do it. We're only doing round estimates right now, but in total, that's how much it costs. So right now, we already spent a day in Egypt. We're flying all the way to Dubai. Yeah, everything's booked. So Now we get to Dubai. This is where it gets pricey. The money goes up, right? So the hotel I booked. I'm not sure if you guys saw the hotel in the previous content that I created, the previous vlogs. The hotel was a nice hotel, but it was $350, $360, including tax and everything. The Airbnb for the night, for 3 nights. So we can round up to, we're gonna say $350. So including on that from 1,800. What are we getting? $2,150 to $2,200. So that's with the hotel and everything. Now we have food. I spent $30 on one meal. I spent $20 on another meal, and then all these other things add up to $120 on average for just food. And honestly, I just walked around the city, didn't do much here, so that was free. Most of the things are free, so we can add another $100 on top of that. So now we're at $1,350 because we had $100 for food, and then we already had the hotel booked. Then we also have transportation, so we can add another $50 on top. So these are all round estimates, but they're general estimates. I shouldn't be missing anything in this because, yeah, I shouldn't be missing anything. So another $50 on top is $2,400. So yeah, after $2,400 later, now we're done with the Dubai trip and we're heading to India. And this flight was $250, but I definitely overpaid. I paid for exit row, but that was only like 100 rupees more, really cheap. But with the timing I had, if I would have booked this earlier, I definitely could have saved a lot more money. So the timing was, unfortunately, I should have booked a bit earlier, and I would have saved like a good, like, I think $70 to $80 on this flight. So we can say $100. I would have saved like $100 on this flight, realistically, if I would have booked earlier. But it's okay. We're still gonna spend $250 on this flight. Yeah, $250 plus the $2,400 is already coming at $2,650, and now we'll be landed in India. Luckily, in India, my parents should be paying for everything. Hopefully, I'll be paying for some stuff myself, but with the hotel and everything, $2,450. And now we spent 1 day in Egypt, 3 days in Dubai, and we're in India. So we're at basically the final destination. Did I overspend? Of course I did. Of course I overspent, right? It's not a huge deal. I mean, the whole total trip cost, I want to be around $9,000 for 2.5 months. And I know it sounds like a lot of money, $9,000, but when you think about it like this, I'll have an amazing experience. I don't really think about money too much. But if I spend $2,000 in Bali and I spend another $2,000 in Vietnam, that's coming up to $4,000. And that's for the whole month there. And then those are really cheap countries. So honestly, but if you include Vietnam, Bali, and India, since my parents are paying for everything, even if I paid for myself, it would only be a couple $100. We're coming out to like $4,000, like almost $7,000. So we're way in the budget. I said $8,000, $9,000. And yeah, that's for 2.5 months, including flights. And also, we have the flight back, so that'll be a little bit of money. But obviously, these are way expensive. You don't have to fly this much. If you can fly economy, go fly economy, okay? If you want a cheaper hotel in Dubai, get a cheaper hotel. I got a nice one because I just wanted some sleep and get rid of all that jet lag stuff. So you can choose how you want. I'm sure if you didn't fly business or you didn't chose a little bit cheaper hotels in Dubai, ate a bit cheaper, you could have brought it down to like $1,500 instead of $2,500. It's just how it is. And yeah, definitely think about that in the long term. And if you want to compare it to, let's say, living in Chicago for 3 months, right? Let's say you got a 3-month lease in Chicago. First of all, you're not moving country to country, right? So, first of all, that would suck. So you can't even compare the two that way. But if you do want to move city to city in the U.S., let's compare the two. A hotel in the U.S. is $100+, right? So you're spending like $100 a night for 3 months or 2.5 months, so 70 days. So that's already $7K, just in hotels. If you think of it like that, absolutely crazy, right? Absolutely unnecessary. And you're only staying in the U.S. I mean, and then you have flights in the U.S., you have gas, you have all these costs. So if you're traveling country to country, that's how you should compare it, because they're really uncomparable. But if you do want to compare it like that, then yeah, go ahead. It'll be like $10K for 2.5 months. But let's say a 3-month lease in Chicago. In Chicago, 1 bedroom is around, I would believe it'll be around I don't know exactly, don't quote me on this, but one bedroom in Lansing, Michigan, Okemos, Michigan is around $1,000, $1,100. So I'd assume $1,500 for one bedroom in Chicago, downtown Chicago. And obviously on all these cities, I'm staying in the main location. So you do have to compare main location to main location, not the suburbs. So yeah, we can say 1,500 for 3 months, which is cost around 4,500 in just, and this is Chicago, this is New York, this is in LA, this is just Chicago, right? Let's say you don't own a car as well, you just take public transportation. You're already at $4,500 plus public transportation, plus food and stuff. Food is like, a couple bucks a meal. It's like, right, if you ate out, you can cook at home and stuff, but let's say you ate out once a night. Because in Bali, I'll be eating out three times a day. So you can't even compare the two, because I'll be cooking in Chicago. I'll be eating out less in Chicago, but every day I'll be eating out in Bali and Dubai. So you really can't compare the two, but we'll try to make a similar comparison as much as possible. So one thing I did realize is, since you can't compare the two, we'll just compare as much as possible. I know you might be like watching this video and being like, hey, what about this? What about this? What about this? You just can't compare the two, but we're going to try our best to compare, right? That's the whole point of the video. And give you the opportunity cost of, should I go to Dubai or should I go to, should I stay in Chicago for 3 months? But anyways, we're at $4,500 in Chicago. And I know it's like, okay, well, compared to the 9,000, you're halfway there. But what about food and everything? Let's say you're spending $20 a day on food in Chicago, which isn't crazy. It's actually pretty low, I believe, if you're eating out especially. $20 a day times 70. You're talking about another 1,500 on top of that, okay? So now we're already at 6K, okay? Now what about the last 3,000? What about bus tickets, having fun? Bus tickets, having fun. Internet, utility costs. We can include that in the hotel, but we're at $6,000. And just in a nice city like Chicago, we're at $6,000, it was $9,000. That's a big difference, right? But then you have to think about everything else, the attractions, the events you do, what else can you do in Chicago? I mean, there's not much to do, the events, the activities. You can add like a $50 a week for that, times 12 weeks. You're talking about another $600 on top. And then, another $600 on top, plus, I think that would mostly be it. So maybe like 7K for you to live in Chicago for 3 months, versus if you go to travel around the whole world, go to Dubai, go to Egypt, go to Bali, go to Vietnam, including flight costs, including everything, including food costs, right? You're eating better, you're happier, the weather's nicer, you're getting all these benefits, right? And it's around the same cost of going to Chicago for 3 months. And if you think of it like that, it's almost uncomparable, because it is comparable. In Chicago, you do have like friends and family, you get like all these other things, you get the convenience of like living in America, which is nice, but if you do get used to the outside world that's not America, then you will feel better. And I know I just traveled for a couple of days. It's only been like 3 or 4 days since I traveled, but yeah, obviously the Dunning-Kruger effect, look it up online. When you first start something, when you first travel, it's all the way up here, and then you go all the way down, and then you go this medium, right? So right now I'm all the way up here. I'm sure when I keep on traveling, it'll go down, and then I'll stay in that medium. Okay. But yeah, that's one thing I've always realized. So if you just calculate costs, yes, it's like 2/3 cheaper, but you're also not eating out every single day, and you're not doing these like fun activities every single day. You're not flying business class every single day, and it's like you're not visiting different countries every day. You're not living in a tropical area every single day. So it's like there's all these differences. You can't compare the two. If you want to compare the two, I'm sure Chicago would be like 12K, 14,000, for 3 months. But you can't compare the two. But yeah, I do want to, so now that we finished the finances, that's really all I wanted to talk about, the finances. I got to check out in around 20 minutes, so we started grinding up this video, edit it in the lounges, in the airplane, and it sounds good. So if you guys ever thinking about traveling, maybe think about how much your dining plan costs at Michigan State University or any other universities. Maybe look up that cost and then decide if you want to go 3 months in a different country. It's really up to you. Look up the cost of your dining plan if you go to MSU. Look it up. It's like $7K or something. It's disgusting. And then when you realize you can travel for 3 months to different countries in Southeast Asia for that same cost, maybe instead of moving to Chicago, go travel the world for 3 months. I'm sure we can all agree you'll get way better experiences in traveling the world, but business opportunities and employment opportunities, obviously, in America will be better. So that's why if you want to focus on experiences, go to a different country. If you want to focus on your work, and this actually means focus on your work, right? Not like mess around, do stupid stuff. This is actually like lock in on your work, like 8 to 12 hours a day. Then stay in America. Yeah, you can do it in other countries, but maybe stay in America because you get connecting opportunities. Everyone speaks English, and yeah, it's a big positive on that side. So definitely try it out. This should be the end of the vlog, but yeah, just talk about finances. Think about your finances on a realistic perspective. Don't just be like, just think of it a bit logically. Like, obviously, I'm sure I'm wrong in some ways, and I want you to think I'm wrong because don't just agree with everything what people say online. But just think about the finances, what your opportunity cost is, but don't think too much because you just shouldn't think too much sometimes. But just think about it, and yeah, I know it feels weird because you're spending it, like there's going to be a mental barrier because like you're spending it like $200 flights, $200, and it's going to like seem like a lot, but then when you buy a $5,000 dining plan at MSU or you move to Chicago and you're spending like $12K in just rent, 1,000, there is a mental barrier for a lot of people, including myself. I can understand that, but once you get past that mental barrier, go spend the money somewhere else. Yeah, and it's interesting. Like, just think about it like that. Like, think about it. You could eat instead of moving to Chicago, which I'm sure all of you guys want to do. I'm sure it's for like employment opportunities, but you could also just eat at really nice restaurants and do really fun activities in Detroit or Lansing, Michigan, even. And if you have that same budget as Chicago, like $1,000 rent, or live in your parents' house, but have fun every single day and eat like sushi every single day. When you think of it like that, then maybe you might think about it a bit differently. It might actually be cheaper to go to escape rooms every day, eat sushi, have fun, versus living in Chicago and having a basic life. This is really up to you. Really up to you. This really goes for people in their 20s, but I'm sure some of it might relate to people above the age of like in the 30s and above. But it's really up to you to decide your life, your choices. But at least think about other things. But don't think too much because you don't want to compare yourself to what you could have done. Just if you want to travel, go travel. If you want to go to Chicago, go to Chicago. Not a huge deal. Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. I gotta head to the airport and call it good. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this finance video. I took it all in one take, 18 minutes long. I don't think there's gonna be any edits, but I'm also getting a lot better at talking on camera because I have this goal. And yeah, I don't think I've ever been able to talk for 18 minutes, even in the presentation, just yapping. Like imagine that. Like I don't know. I feel like I feel like since I've been vlogging every single day, I've been able to talk a lot better and talk a lot more about random stuff. And I'm able to talk on camera pretty comfortably, and I feel like if I had a presentation, I'll just act like I'm talking on camera. So anyways, end of vlog. Last 20 minutes. Hope you guys had a good 20 minutes. Yeah. Peace.